How's it going, everybody? This is Taylor from the BR Red Bigs Racing Network, and today we welcome you to the NASCAR Kickstarter Cup Series race live from Pikes Peak International Speedway. A very well-known track that NASCAR rarely ever goes to. Today we are taking the Kickstarter cars to this short track, short speedway. Last week at California, we seen some high speeds, high drama. Eric Kenton in the 12 car take it to victory lane. We have not yet had a repeat winner. Can we have one today? Let's find out as we go to our starting lineup here. On the pole will be our points leader of Noah Robb. Sharing the front row will be Nico Haas, 37. Christopher Rowan will start alongside Dylan Davis. Justin Seigel will start alongside Patrick Smith. JJ Offerberg will start alongside Peter on Jag. Austin Delgado will start next to TJ Hanley. Dylan Skinner will start alongside Eli Bright. Nicholas Candano will start next to Skylar Fleming. Matt Martin will start alongside James Bowles. Miles Mashburn will start alongside Carter Thiessen. Chase Marks will start alongside Brandon Kenton. Jeffrey Chevelle will start next to Paul Kenthrow. J.R. Richard will start next to Norm Benning. John Art will start alongside Andrew Morris. Austin Kramer will start alongside Raymond Bradshaw. Jimmy Nasco will start alongside Kyle Jackson in the 9. Daniel Rickman will start alongside Tom Kenton. Vince Kenton will start alongside Eric Kenton, last week's winner. Rick Ando will start alongside Andrew Moffat. Fred Bennington will start alongside Timothy Clusters in the 81. And starting dead last, ladies and gentlemen, is the number 73 of Joshua Shazuli. That out of the way, we can quickly get to the start of today's race, where action is going to be everywhere, at the front of the field, in the back of the field. And this is going to be one quick race. The pace car rolls off. Frame rate's going to be a bit of a bad thing today because I have stuff running in the background, and it's going to affect it a lot, although it does not show it for me right now. So our points leader of Noah Ross. Okay. Been watching too much Bob Ross. But Noah Robb, coming off a pretty good place finish last week at California. Can he pull off yet another good place victory in today's race? He's starting on the pole, which is a great spot for a points leader. Can that Juicy Juice 28 Ritz machine take it to the house in victory lane tonight? But the green flag is about to be waving, and we're off racing here at Pikes Peak. Boogity boys, let's go racing. Noah Robb takes a jump start through turns 1 and 2. Christopher Rowan jumps out to second after turns 1 and 2. Don't look down, but it has become a quick battle between the food brands. Noah Robb and Christopher Rowan are battling 1-2. Down turns 3 and 4. They aren't side by side yet. No side by side battles have been made just yet. Noah Robb will lead lap 1. 63 quick laps. These times are shorter than 30 seconds, even with these cars slowly getting up to speed, which is, well, good for me because I don't have to sit through 2 hours of racing. More than likely a half an hour, if not a little more. Noah Robb will lead the first 2 laps. Christopher Rowan will be in second. Justin Seigel in third. Nico Haas falls to 4th. Excuse me. Peter will fall to the top. The 5th. Dylan Davis is the first car outside the top 5, and Patrick Smith in 6th. Austin Delgado in 7th. Dylan Skinner 8th. Eli Bright 9th. And Nicholas Candano will round out your top 10. Up at the front, it is just a battle between Noah Robb, Christopher Rowan, and Justin Seigel. None of these 3 have won a race. If these 3 drivers were to win a race, this would mean a lot to their illustrious careers. We haven't had a repeat winner yet in this series, which is a good thing for these drivers because they'd rather not have a repeat winner try and get themselves first in the points. They would like to get a win first and get their names on the points first. Peter's up to 4th. He's gained a couple spots. Austin's making a move behind. Let's go back to that. Just trying to get himself placed 7th. He gets by Patrick Smith. You'll be in the 7th spot. You got Nico and Dylan Davis battling for who would be outside the top 10. Top 5, excuse me. These two are sad. Now Nico gets the advantage. Patrick Smith will quickly clear Austin. Well, the driver's on the back. Eric Kenton is in last place. He's now going first to worst. And as a matter of one race. It's basically single file throughout the field. Then again, we still see a lot of drivers still making some moves here. Jeffrey Chevelle, who won in Atlanta, just not having such a good day whatsoever, sitting in the back here with Norm Benning. JJ Hoferberg, Miles Bashford are Series point winners back here in the back of the field. He's currently sitting in just outside the top 10. So not a bad spot for that 72 team, but definitely not the greatest. No drivers currently being shown out of the race. Fastest lap goes to Peter. The slowest lap goes to Kyle Jackson. Yeah, these lap times are relatively close together, not a second apart like in the Piston Cup Series. Justin Seigel giving a little bump to Chris on the back of his bumper, trying to get him to go a little quicker. Question will be whether or not we will have pit stops in this race. And when will they happen, if they do happen. But it's Noah Robb who was leading the race. He's leading all of the laps so far, being a dominant driver in today's race live from Pikes Peak. Christopher Rowan is just it's going to look side by side for the lead. Turns 3 and 4, he was looking down the backstretch. Had his nose out from underneath the car. Now it looks like he's doing the same thing he was doing out of the backstretch. He's trying to look for the lead, but it doesn't look like he can get it. Yeah, he's putting the back bumper right to Noah Robb, but Noah Robb ain't having it. He's defending his first place. Now Justin Seigel and Peters trying to make a move next to Chris. Trying to get by him, but it doesn't work. Christopher Rowan will continue to block for that second spot. It is still a tight battle for the first place. It's a tight battle throughout the top 4, that's for sure. Our next race will go to Walt Disney Speedway, which will definitely be a very, very, very interesting race. So then we go to Texas, Tennessee Super Speedway, and then Montreal. Definitely got some road courses coming up in these neck of the woods. So we definitely got a lot of good races left to come in this series. But just 1 and 2 right now. Looks like Justin Seigel and Peter have split off from one another, which is good news for Chris, so he has less cars to deal with. That's bad news for Peter. Still not side by side. They're still dead even. Dead even. They aren't side by side, but they are not pulling away from one another. Justin Seigel trying to make another move for the second spot. We'll go on board with Peter. See right now, Peter adjusted or loosened time off of Chris and Noah. Noah trying to gain. But it does not look like Peter and Justin are going to try and catch up. It doesn't even look like they're going to catch up to Chris and Noah. It looks like they may be just a little too fast for their machines. And then again, we don't even know. Dylan Davis is in 5th, and that's outside the top 5. Nico Haas and Austin Delgado still battling to get in the top 5. But it's going to be a close call between Chris and Noah for the first place of this race. But if Noah were to lead all the laps and get past halfway without losing the lead to Chris, he will definitely get the most points earned in this race. Most points earned. Most laps led, point earned. I don't know how you say it. Still pretty dead even. Let's check and see what's going on in the back. Nothing really much. There's some side-by-side battles. It's just mostly split off between some drivers. James Bowles catching on up through the field. Here's a side-by-side battle for the 3rd spot. Peter's trying to get past Justin. Trying to get past that Taco Bell Best Buy machine. Good side-by-side battle for the 3rd spot. You can maybe get a good glimpse of the action at the front, see if anything happens up there. These two are dead even down the straightaways, just like Christopher and Noah. Dead even. Any one of them makes a mistake, the other can easily capitalize. Justin easily gets by Peter. Technical difficulties here in the PRN station. You didn't miss much. It was just maybe a lap or two. Oh well. But yeah. Noah Robb in the lead. We are going to take one quick commercial break in this race. We'll bring you back to the action here just before the halfway point of this race, live from Pikes Peak International Raceway. What will happen as we still have 40 laps to go in this race? We will be back in a few short moments, ladies and gentlemen. Noah Robb is your leader. Welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway, where, yes, Christopher Rowan has overtaken Noah Robb for the lead. And he's starting to pull away from the group as Noah Robb battles to stay in the 2nd spot away from Justin Seigel. Christopher Rowan takes the lead early in this race, destroying the hopes and dreams of Noah Robb and getting a good finishing spot in this race. But he still can be the points leader coming out of this race. If he were to finish in the top 5, knowing that he will have that bonus point, or a couple bonus points, I mean, thanks to leading a couple laps. As these two are still side by side, trying to hang on for one another's position. Christopher Rowan is pulling away, almost making the gap up to a 2nd over Justin Seigel. Dylan Davis in the 21, the next car behind these drivers, nowhere to be found. Just 2 seconds behind this group of cars. Doesn't look like they're going to catch up to this 4 group of the leaders. But it will be very, very close for the win in this race. Christopher Rowan trying to get his first win of this season, making it a 6 different winner, 6, 7, somewhere along those lines of different winners. We have not had a repeat winner in this race, in this season, I mean. So far, if one of these 4 drivers were to win it, it would still not be a repeat winner in this series. We have not seen any luck from our recent winners. Victory Lane slouch has been going on this series. Vince Kenton, who won Daytona, all the way in the back of the field. Every race, nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. Jeffrey Chevelle, basically the same story. Eli Bright's always at the front of the field, but right now he is not shown in the top 10. He is sitting 12th, just a couple seconds behind 11th place. Let's see. Miles Mashburn. He's been relatively up at the top 10 front of the field, but just hasn't had much success after his dominating Sears Point win. And Eric Kenton in the 12. Basically the same story as his brother Vince Kenton. Just not having any luck whatsoever in finding victory lane yet again. So if any of these four drivers were to win this race, could it be disaster for the rest of the season for these drivers? Or were those last drivers I just named off victories a fluke? The only ones that have not been a fluke this season has been Miles Mashburn and somewhat Eli Bright. Miles Mashburn and Eli Bright stay relatively in the top 15, while the rest of the drivers that I did not mention that have won a race this season are slouching in the back of the field. And this is not the playoff system where you win and you're in. You got to stay consistent throughout the year. And if you are, let me think if I remember the chase format. You got to stay in the top 10. It's either top 10 or top 12, or 400 points behind the leader, and you're in for the chase. Then your points get reset relatively close to each other, and then you guys battle it out. I think that's how the chase format works, because we are running the 07 chase format. I would say that would relatively work. I highly doubt we will have any double headers. It's the only way we are going to get leeches in this series now is if we have double headers. Thought I'd be a little more realistic with our double headers. With our leeches, I mean. And we will have a leech from the Truck Series, a leech from the Piston Cup Series, and maybe a leech from the Wheel and Modified Series. Oh no, most of them won't even be leeches because they're racing in this series. But I'll try and find some names that aren't in that series. Noah Robb is falling back from the pack. He has lost the somewhat draft between him and Peter, so he's fallen way back. Not a good day for Noah Robb. Started on the pole and fallen out of the leader's sight. Could be a worse day for Noah though, but definitely not the day he was looking for. Now Peter and Justin go side by side for second. It's a close battle between these two. Close battle. Definitely a very close battle. This may help out Christopher Owen in trying to take some advantage of it and get some time between the two drivers. But definitely quite the day we are having here for Christopher Owen. Started in the second row and he's being consistently up at the front of the field. He even has the lead right now, which is a great thing for him. I want to say Chris has been doing exceptionally well in this series. Just got caught up in a few accidents at Daytona and Atlanta. He was doing alright, but started to fall off the face of the earth near the end of the race. Bristol he was doing relatively good at, just wasn't up at the front like he should have been. And Sears Point, he was up at top 10, but just, you know, no one could gain any spots because it's Sears Point. And California, just up at the front, but, you know, there was so much shit going on in that race that was a little intense, let's say. Just a lap ago here, this turn, Justice Igel tried to put the bumper on Christopher Rowan. Tried to take him up to the corner, basically do the same thing that he did to Noah, take the lead during the commercial break. Definitely worked out on Christopher's part to take the lead away from Noah Robb, but definitely knows the strategy that 19 is playing. He knows what that 19 wants. He knows how he's going to get it. And I just now realized that these three drivers have Evernham font numbers on them. So it's a battle of the Evernham cars. Woo! Only took me a week to recognize... A week? Only took me now to recognize that. Now Chris is putting at least a half a car length lead over Justice Igel, and Justin is trying to close that gap to less than a quarter of a car length. Sorry for your background noise. These three drivers of Chris, Peter, and Justice Igel relatively close to one another in this race. Now, wow, Peter. Oh, wow, Peter's trying to slingshot him for... Oh, Peter just slingshot Justin for the second spot. But he doesn't clear him down turns 1 and 2, and now they're still side by side down the backstretch. I'm gonna get to that battle because I can't see it. Justin is really trying to defend his second spot, but this is helping out Christopher Rowan in the biggest amounts of glory. Peter's still side by side. He has the advantage, but he just can't clear that 19 car. And he's going to give that second place back to Justin. It may help Noah try to get back up to the front of the field. You can see James Bowles is trying to get up into the top 5. He's about to pass that 21 car of Dylan Davis. Wow, that'd definitely be a great day for that 39 team. That 39 of James Bowles is one of those drivers where you have to keep an eye on him in the points. May not be doing good he may not be doing good and winning all the races, but he's definitely he's being consistently better at the finishing part. While drivers are having like bipolar finishes, James is one of those that'll finish just outside the top 5, if not just outside the top 10. Still a 3-car breakaway from the group, and Noah Robb has pretty much been the same length that he was when we talked about him before. I think that's a large part due to that battle for the second spot, and that really helped out Noah trying to gain a little bit more ground, but just wasn't enough. Now Peter trying to do the same thing that he did just a couple of laps ago. Can he be successful this time around, or will failure bite that 70 car again? Peter is just trying to get as many points as he can, but it's not really helping him in the slightest if he wants to get a win. That's not the greatest thing to do, especially if you keep on going side by side with the same driver over and over and over, losing a lot of time. You gotta do whatever you can to try and move your opponent out of the way. Definitely not working for that 70 car, trying to be as aggressive as he possibly can be, trying to take second. He just isn't being aggressive enough. Christopher Rowan still leading this race, as when they come to the line, we'll have about 12 laps to go in this race. A very, very quick race, in my opinion. It will not be the quickest race of the Kickstarter season, this season. Because there's some races where there's going to be, I think Bristol Dirt was not that long of a race. We'll have to find, well, it'll compete with the shortest race of the season. This is about, like I said, about a half an hour of a race long. If these times are like 30, not even 30 seconds, like 20 seconds, 28, 29 seconds. Be about a little less than a half an hour. If this stays green the entirety of the way. At this point, I really don't see many mistakes being made on these drivers. They're racing clean, they're racing nice, they're racing not aggressively. That's what you want to do if you want to have a clean race. Help get your I rating up. Christopher Rowan's going to take the flag with 10 laps to go, leading half. I want to say most of the laps already. No one could outlead Christopher Rowan anymore. So Chris will get the most laps led in this race. Daniel Rickman in the 4. Not having a good day. Nor is some of the Kenton brothers of Eric and Vince. There's a bunch of guys side by side back here. And it's all the way in the back. And there's Miles Mashburn. He's falling. He's falling. Just when I start talking about him having more consistent days, he is falling just outside the top 20. He is falling, and falling. Austin Delgado staying relatively in the top 10. James Bowles is in the top 5. So definitely quite a couple of surprises in today's race already. We're gonna see a new driver win yet again. Whether that'll be Christopher Rowan, Justice Igel, or Peter. Because nobody from the back is making any sort of moves that has won a race. The farthest you could go to find a past winner would have to be all the way to Eli Bright, just outside the top 10, 14th. So there are 13 other drivers that are getting the chance to get a win, but too bad they're just way too far away from our leader of Christopher Rowan. Christopher Rowan just has a good setup for this race. I'll go ahead and look at some lap times here. You can see right now that the times have fallen to a second over their best laps. So tires are definitely have worn off. Does not look like I don't think these guys are wanting to go down pit road. Well, I would not doubt it. Probably is too late to go down. Definitely a second slower than your fastest lap time. Christopher is just a little less than a second off. 1/100th of a second off. No drivers have gone a lap down or out of the race. That is definitely something good that we can report on in this race. Everybody's going to be finishing this race. At least they've had a chance to be competitive. May not have been the best day for about half these drivers. But definitely a good day for either the 0019 or the 70 car. Definitely a good day for one of these three. Oh, Justin's trying to make a move for first on these last couple laps. Ooh, it's going to get a little intense as we got 3 laps to go. Christopher Rowan has defended the lead for about half of the race so far. Noah has fallen. He's fallen back way too much. If these 3 were to wreck, they would probably refire quick enough for Noah to still be in the back. Ooh, it was about to be a 3-wide battle for the lead. Peter just shoved Justice Igel out of the way. That is going to give the biggest advantage to Christopher Rowan. Now turns 1 and 2. He will regain the lead and even regain maybe a couple tenths of a second over these guys. Does not look like these two. Okay, they sorted out real quickly. That's good. That's good. That's good. So white flag spots by Credit One National Bank. One more chance for this 00 car to make an impact on this series. Could easily get his way into the chase. Although, you know, that's hasn't really been happening just yet. But, you know, it's going to be close. A win right here can easily get you a good spot in the points. Especially if you're already doing good in the points like Chris is. And he's going to add on to his points by winning the race at Pikes Peak. Half the race led, and he's going to win it. Christopher Rowan will win at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Justin Seigel in second, Peter in third, Noah in fourth, James in fifth, Dylan in sixth, Nico seventh. And the rest of the field on back. You can see a good amount of driver. Oh, there's a big pile up down. Oh, well, you gotta get our daily dose of wrecks today. 77 has a pretty bent up hood. Well, you gotta get your dose of wrecks somehow today. Alright. So that'll be it for today's race, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Rowan will win in this race, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to do it from Pikes Peak. Thank y'all so much for watching. Next week, we take it to Walt Disney Speedway. That's basically all I got to say. Thank y'all so much for watching. And have a good day, everybody.